So you guys already know it is me on your weekly Georgia football game recap. It was a pretty dominant win all around, so I'm not really going to waste too much time right now. I'm not going to waste too much time giving you this recap, but at the same time, I'm going to define what good went on in this game. Now, of course, before I get into this video, make sure to like, subscribe, turn the notification bell. You guys help me out a little bit. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. Now, of course, starting off, Georgia absolutely demolished Vanderbilt by a score of 55-0. It was a completely dominant win in all parts of the game. Not really much else to say. Now, Stetson Bennett and Carson Beck were both cooking. They were cooking this Vanderbilt defense. Stetson Bennett, 24 for 30, 289 yards, 2 touchdowns. Carson Beck then came in, 9 for 11, 98 yards, another 2 touchdowns. Yes, UGA absolutely cooked this team in all factions of the game. Now, of course, going to the receiving game, I need to talk about an absolute freak. That guy's name is Darnell Washington. Darnell Washington got more involved in the offense than he has been probably in his entire UGA career. 4 catches, 78 yards. He had a fantastic one-handed catch that went for about 30 yards. So Darnell Washington, he's a freak. I really want him to get more involved into this offense. And speaking into involvement in the offense, Dylan Bell, a freshman wide receiver, 5 receptions, 54 yards. Very, very solid game. We need another guy in that outside and sort of slot receiver spot. Maybe Dylan Bell can be that guy for us. Of course, Dominic Blaylock scored his first touchdown since 2019, dealing with the ACL injuries. We had a lot of prayers for Dominic, man. I'm so glad to see him back on the field, scoring touchdowns just like he should be. And of course, Eric Gilbert, after pretty much turmoil in his entire tenure at Georgia so far, he finally has scored his first touchdown in a UGA uniform. So very, very big congratulations to Eric Gilbert. Hopefully he can give us many more touchdowns over his career. Now, of course, going to the rushing game, pretty much had 2 main guys carry the rushing game for the most part. They had a couple backups come in, but Kenny McIntosh, 9 carries, 43 yards, even scored a couple touchdowns. Of course, Dejon Edwards, same sort of game, 10 carries, 49 yards. So nothing really crazy from these guys. Not a 100-yard game, but then again, UGA, you know, they pound the ball. When they're able to run the ball, they're an unstoppable football team, and I think they demonstrated that here. 192 total team rushing yards on the day. Kendall Milton also did not play, so that's why I'm not talking about him too much today. Now, of course, going to the UGA defense, I'm not going to waste too much time. This was pretty dominant. The defense, they allowed 0 points. They forced a fumble/turnover. Nolan Smith had 1 sack, pretty much our little player of the game. Everything was pretty much clamped and clobbered up for Vanderbilt throughout the entire game. The whole field was covered. Everybody had things going right for him on the defensive side. Keely Ringo played a very, very solid game at that quarterback position. And UGA is currently the 2nd ranked defense in college football when it comes to points per game, allowing just over 9. Now, of course, going into the recap, UGA, likely the undisputed number 1 so far. Alabama did lose this week to Tennessee. And man, let me stress it to you. That UGA-Tennessee game out in Lau, Athens on November 5th is going to be one of the best games of the year. We could see a possible 1-2 matchup, ladies and gentlemen. I think it can definitely happen. Now, before that, we have like the hardest stretch of the season coming up. Florida, really important game. If you're into the SEC, this game is super, deathly important for seeding. Florida, super important game. We have them in Jacksonville in 2 weeks. So we're going to get some rest. Also, we have Kentucky, another ranked team. Tennessee coming up. They're going to be they're a top 4 team, number 3 in the recent AP poll, if I stand corrected. Then, of course, you have Mississippi State coming up. So just a whole lot of rough games for UGA. Hopefully they go through this stretch and win all of them, but 1 week at a time. Now, as far as next week, we do have a bye week, so UGA, they can get their guys, rest up, and get ready for Florida next week, which I think is going to be a super important game, and which I know is going to be a super important game if you're a UGA fan. But, of course, put up or shut up time for UGA. This is going to be the end of this video. However, thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. You guys help me out a little bit. Without further ado, I'm going to end this video. Stay loved, stay blessed. I wish you nothing but the best per usual. Thank you for watching.
Love is no 1 in a million. It goes on and on and on. You give